we didn't know if this was my son or not, and she was with another man that doesn't get along. So I didn't reach out because at the time, I didn't know if it was my kid or not. And then we did a DNA test, and then she filed the lawsuit. So now I'm reaching out to have parenting time with my son. I'd like to talk about the child care that it says that's on here. Is that child care being paid to her mother to watch the child or a licensed facility that I'm paying on?
Did you put that in your motion? How much do you pay her?
It's $176 a week.
And does she run like a child care center, a daycare center or something?
She does not.
Sir, it doesn't sound like there have been any changes since the order was entered to the child care situation.
Okay, so the money that I'm paying to her mother could very well just be going right back into her pocket and getting double of what I have to pay. It seems like I'm getting scammed, getting screwed over on this.
Well, I would agree that
I just got the paperwork right here and it says, I agreed to the $627 for the child support. I understood that. And then when I got the paperwork, the child care is thrown on top of it. And it brings up to $1,250 a month. And with my pay stubs, I have those here too. That's just unreal.
you filed this motion, correct?
Yes, sir, I did.
All right, what are you requesting and why?
I would like to be requesting every weekend to see my son. Currently have no time that I get him.
You have no time currently?
Yeah.
Oh, why not?
I've been able to see him, but I haven't been able to keep him. I get him for a couple hours here and there, but I'd like to have him more often.
Okay. All right, ma'am, what's your position in this as far as Mr. Brock's request for parenting time, Mr. Van Brock?
I have never told him no. At any time he gets a hold of me and requests to see Jameson, he does. I just do not want him overnight. They don't have sleeping arrangements for him.
How old's the child?
8 months.
How long the two of you been separated?
We've never been together in the child's life.
Oh, okay.
I'd also add in there, I do have sleeping arrangements for my son. I also have another son. That's wrong.
But ma'am, why don't you think that Mr. Van Brock has sleeping arrangements? He indicates that he does.
I've been in their house. I have seen a toddler bed and a bassinet pack and play. But there is 5 children in the home, not all at the same time, but when they are all there at the same time, where would my son be sleeping?
So, sir, where would this 8-month-old be sleeping?
Well, the 8-month-old would be sleeping in the bassinet. And the other boys, there is also another room in the house where the boys could also sleep.
I'm unaware.
That has 2 beds in it already.
All right. So, ma'am, he's indicated this child would sleep in the bassinet.
They have a 6-week-old baby that I believe sleeps in that same bassinet, so that doesn't make any sense to me.
And it comes into 2. It separates.
2 bassinets?
Yes, it does.
Does that sound better, ma'am?
I would request that we do every other Sunday during the day until he's at least a year old. I don't want him to be overnight until he's at least 1. And then I would like to do like every other weekend, but I don't want to do every weekend. I work during the week too, so that's going to take him on my only days off as well.
All right. And sir, how much time have you actually had with this 8-month-old child?
I've had him a few times. I'm going to guess maybe 3 or 4 times that I've had him here.
Just for a
And
couple
I've gone to
hours
see
at a time?
him, but I always have to leave and go to see him in White Cloud, and I'd rather just have my own parenting time with him. I don't think it's right that I have to travel to see him.
Right, 3 to 4 times though, just a couple hours at a time?
Yep.
All right. Well,
And I have plenty of other kids. I mean, it's not like I'm not capable of taking care of them.
Well, I get that, but why, the two of you have never been together? And in 8 months, you've only had 3 or 4 visits for a couple hours here and there. And you didn't file this, you filed the motion, but you didn't file the lawsuit. Why didn't you file way back when for, parenting time?
Well,
Right?
for a good chunk of the time, we didn't know if this was my son or not, and she was with another man that doesn't get along. So I didn't reach out because at the time, I didn't know if it was my kid or not. And then we did a DNA test, and then she filed the lawsuit. So now I'm reaching out to have parenting time with my son.
Well, the prosecutor filed it, but,
Oh, gotcha.
um, but on her behalf, I guess, to A, establish paternity, and B, probably establish custody and child support orders.
Which we never did the paternity test through the courts. It was just, she got one, came to my dad's, we did it, it came back, and now here we are.
Well,
May I speak?
hold on.
Okay.
We held a hearing on April 12th. At that time, I would have asked you if you agreed that you were the father. If you didn't, that would be the time that you could have requested a DNA test, but you must have agreed at that time that you
Yeah,
were.
I did.
Okay. So you would have had the opportunity to have a court ordered.
Oh, I'm not saying that I don't need one. I feel as if we already had one. Now I know it's my son.
Okay. But did you have an idea that the child might have been your son
I
for
did. I did.
7 months prior to that?
I had an idea I was there for the birth, but then immediately after that, she left with this man, and I figured that maybe they found out that it was his son. Because after that, she ghosted. She never said anything from Halloween.
Okay, my point is that any time over those intervening months, you could have filed something with the court on the belief that it was your child and had the court address it.
Well, at that time, I didn't know. I had no idea.
And I
imagine I probably should have gone for it anyway.
Right, and we might be having a totally different conversation about how much parenting time you would have if you had regular time for the last 7 months.
Yep.
Who knows? Maybe you would have half the time. Who knows? Maybe not. I don't know. But I guess we're here now, and you've only seen the child a couple times. So I'll implement the reasonable parenting time policy schedule for parenting time at this point. Like I said, if you had significantly more time over those months, then I may very well be moved to have given you more time, but
Okay.
since you haven't, I have to deal with the situation as it is. And so where is it? All right, so essentially for a child up to a year old, it'd be parenting time on Wednesdays from 5 to 8 and Sundays from 12 to 6. And then starting when the child turns 1, it would be from 9 o'clock Saturday till 6 o'clock Sunday, and Wednesdays from 5 to 8 as well, plus a holiday schedule and additional time in the summer, 1 week blocks each month in the summer and things like that. Then when the child turns 2, it would be every other weekend, half the summer and half the holidays. So unless things change, that's what it would be going forward. Obviously, motions are filed all the times in these types of cases, and things change here and there if proper proofs are made. But at this point, the reasonable parenting time would be the parenting time that would be ordered. All right.
Okay.
All right. Is there anything else for today then?
I'd like to talk about the childcare that it says that's on here. Is that childcare being paid to her mother to watch the child, or a licensed facility that I'm paying on?
Did you put that in your motion?
I believe it is. It's under childcare on the paper that I put on next to it.
It says, like the court to order parenting time is every weekend as I am fully capable of my son providing for him on my time. I have stable living environment, a bed, and everything he will need. It's in the best interest to have parenting time to with myself because he deserves to have both of his parents and also his brothers, deserves to be taught things only a dad can teach. Parenting time, child care, child support renewal. All right. So the child care is part of the current support obligation, and it's $573 per month. Ma'am, since the time that you had your final conference with the prosecutor's office, usually Linda over there, has your child care changed at all?
No, ma'am, or no, sir.
And who provides your child care for you?
My mom.
And how much do you pay her?
It's $176 a week.
And does she run like a child care center, a daycare center or something?
She does not.
Does she have other children that she provides child care for?
She has guardianship of her 2 other grandchildren, but I have called into other child care facilities around the area, and they don't have any spots open anyways.
Okay. Sir, it doesn't sound like there have been any changes since the order was entered to the child care situation.
Okay, so the money that I'm paying to her mother could very well just be going right back into her pocket and getting double of what I have to pay. Seems like I'm getting scammed, getting screwed over on this.
Well, I would agree that I usually scrutinize situations where a grandparent or a family member or relative is providing the child care, but you would have had the opportunity to do that when that order was entered, or before that order was entered.
I didn't even know the order was entered. It wasn't talked about on our first meeting.
At this point,
I just got the paperwork right here, and it says, I mean, I agreed to the $627 for the child support. I understood that, and then when I got the paperwork, the child care is thrown on top of it, and it brings it up to $1,250 a month. And with my pay stubs, I have those here too. That's just unreal. I have a newborn child as well.
did we talk about child support at the same time we talked about paternity? It's usually all dealt with at once.
What's that?
Looks like we did. Let's go off the record. I'll listen to.
What we just watched is actually a very common situation in family courts across the country, where a parent wants to build a relationship with their child, but is starting that process much later than the court would prefer. Let's break down the key issues that shaped the judge's decision here. First, the timeline matters a lot. The child in this case is 8 months old, and the father admits he has only seen the baby around 3 or 4 times, and only for a couple of hours each visit. From the court's perspective, that means there isn't an established routine or strong parent-child bond yet. Judges often prioritize stability for infants, which is why courts usually introduce parenting time gradually rather than jumping straight into overnight visits. And that's exactly what the judge did here. Instead of granting the father every weekend immediately, which is what he requested, the court implemented what's called a reasonable parenting time schedule. This is a step-up plan designed specifically for very young children. The father will begin with shorter visits during the week and longer daytime visits on Sundays. Then, as the child gets older and more comfortable with both parents, the schedule gradually expands to include overnight visits and eventually full weekends. This type of schedule is extremely common in custody cases involving babies or toddlers. The goal isn't to punish either parent, it's to give the child time to build a relationship with both parents in a way that's developmentally appropriate. Now let's talk about the second issue that sparked tension in this hearing: childcare costs. The father clearly believes the childcare payment might be unfair because the mother's own mother is providing the childcare. From his perspective, it feels like the money he's paying could simply be cycling back into the household. And to be fair, judges often do examine situations where relatives provide childcare because sometimes those arrangements can raise questions about whether the costs are legitimate. However, the key point the judge makes here is procedural. This issue should have been raised earlier when the support order was first entered. Courts rely heavily on timing. If neither party objects or requests clarification when an order is initially created, it becomes much harder to challenge those terms later unless there's a significant change in circumstances. Another factor working against the father here is something the judge pointed out very directly. Even before the Dana test was finalized, the father had reason to believe the child could be his. During those months, he could have filed a motion with the court to establish paternity and request parenting time earlier. If that had happened, the judge even hinted that the situation today might look very different. The father might already have a much larger role in the child's life. But family court doesn't operate on hypotheticals. Judges have to make decisions based on the current facts in front of them. And in this case, the facts show limited contact so far, which means the court is choosing a cautious, gradual path forward. What's interesting here is that neither parent actually lost this hearing. The father did receive an official parenting schedule that will allow him to build a consistent relationship with his son going forward. And the mother succeeded in delaying overnight visits until the child is older, which was her primary concern. So the court essentially split the difference, prioritizing the child's stability while still making sure the father has a structured opportunity to become involved. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think the judge handled this situation fairly? Should the father have received more parenting time right away? Or was the gradual schedule the right call given the circumstances? Let us know what you think down in the comments below. And if you found this case as shocking and fascinating as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with someone who follows courtroom stories like this, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns right here on the channel.